Welcome back to Policy and Rates here at Independence Media Radio. I'm your host, Michael Clogs. Okay, so we got some interesting stuff today. Well, one, Pierre Poilievre, he got a seat. He finally got a seat in Alberta on a by-election. He won. Narrow margins, of course, but he did get the seat back as Conservative leader, and he will be returning to the House of Commons. He is making some statements about priorities and agendas that maybe Canadians should listen to and hear him out, hear what he has to say, so we know what the Conservatives are going to be up to and how they're going to maybe help Mark Carney or try to circumvent Mark Carney. As we know, Mr. Poilievre, he has this habit of throwing a monkey wrench into something that could possibly work. So we have to wait and see what happens as time develops. But he did actually make a statement because this question was asked of him, and I think that he actually convinced this journalist to ask this question, and about where would Canada be if they had chose him as prime minister to begin with, and that we hadn't gone through months of having Mark Carney as being prime minister of Canada. And his answer was, oh, we'd be much further ahead, that we wouldn't be giving away as much to the United States as Mark Carney has, that there wouldn't have been as many concessions made to Donald Trump, so forth and so on, that he himself would have carried Canada to heights unknown. Well, maybe it's good that Canada made the choice they did to begin with Mark Carney, because we, at this point, don't need someone who wants to control everything. We need someone who wants to cooperate with the world and work with the world when we have a tyrant and a potential despot that is living right next door to us. We don't need the same thing here in Canada if the United States has that. So, we're also going to hear from Mélanie Joly, as she has been visiting Sweden and Finland in hopes of a trade deal. Well, the trade deal also is wrapped around defense, and as you know, Canada is trying to increase their defense spending and protect the Arctic at the same time. Canada is an Arctic country, and the biggest Arctic country next to Russia. Yeah, that's right. Russia is an Arctic country, and they're right across the ocean, because the Arctic is an ocean, right? We got to remember that. Okay, so she's speaking with numerous companies like Saab, and on the medical side, AstraZeneca, as she is trying to bolster trade for Canada and bring back things that Canada needs for a solid defense strategy. Yes, medicine is part of a solid defense strategy, as well as ships, as well as aircraft, as she will be speaking with companies like Lockheed Martin and everything. She referenced several times a Paris air show where she is trying to build relationships with different companies and different countries so that Canada can protect ourselves and protect other Arctic neighbors. Sorry. So we're also going to hear from Doug Ford, as he is putting millions of dollars into protecting the steelworkers. And he is, well, when we get to that part of it, you're going to hear a couple of people ahead of him who are going to talk about Steelworkers Union and the importance of steel to Canada, and how great the Canadian steel industry is, and how it supports construction, shipbuilding, many other industries in Canada by providing the materials needed to build. So the union is also talking about how they are supporting their members with re-education, retraining needed, because some of the jobs, well, simply put, they've been lost due to technology and upgrades. So it is on that end, it is the 70 million that Ontario is putting into this industry is a definite plus. Okay, but in the Doug Ford fashion, he oversteps what he's saying. He's talking about, and don't get me wrong, this is a good thing for all of the provinces work together towards a commerce goal to make Canada stronger, to ensure that raw materials and minerals and things like that get mined in a timely fashion. And this is my opinion, not only should they be mined in a timely fashion, but they should be processed so that we're not just selling, say, iron ore. That we're not just selling aluminum ore. That we're selling at least partly finished product, which would cause jobs and things like that. But that's my opinion. He is going to go on to say that that Canada should be united in that, and with that, he criticized some of the things that have happened with shipbuilding. That British Columbia is buying a ferry from China. Well, what Doug Ford is forgetting about is that the shipbuilding company in Ontario that he said they could have done the work never applied to do the work for British Columbia. That if Canada is to work together and companies are going to work together across the provinces, then when a proposal comes up, then Canadian companies need to respond to those proposals and not pass them over because, oh, well, it's Canadian. Well, now we'll let that one go and we'll let some foreign company have it, when we should be stepping up to help each other out. Doug Ford criticizes David Eby for hiring a foreign company, but at the same time, he did not criticize his own shipbuilding company in Ontario for not stepping up to be willing to build that ferry and apply for that job to begin with. It's got to go both ways on this. So we're going to hear from a lot of different things that they could actually make Canada a better place to live. So why don't we get to it, and let's start off with hearing from Pierre, then we'll move forward from there.